Hey guys, it's Philip Eric. Hope you're all doing well. In this video, I'm going to show you how to achieve a semi-versatile curly afro with no leave out. My friend Breeny Lee wanted something fun and low maintenance for her holiday. So you will need combs, needle and thread, razor comb, scissors, clips, braid hair, a spray bottle and curl activating cream. We are using 5 bundles of DeepWave hair and a frontal, which we later cut into a closure. So I first start off by parting Breeny's hair directly in the middle of her head, using the middle of her nose as a guide. Once I found the middle, I then proceed to braid her hair, using braiding hair, also known as expressions. Using this will give a secure base, so a weaving net is not really necessary. I know a lot of you guys use a weaving net, but you actually don't need to when you use braiding hair. This is the finished braiding pattern that I'll be using for this install. So moving on to the sewing, I'm doubling the bundles all the way through, as there simply won't be enough space to fit all 5 bundles and the closure. Don't worry about trying to be neat or trying to get the bundles as flat as possible, as we actually are going for a big look, so that doesn't really matter. Okay, so I know what you guys are thinking. Why doesn't he sew the closure on first? But personally, I don't sew the closure on first. I sew it on just before I sew on the last bundle, so I can kind of gauge how much space I have left. We decided to cut the frontal down to make a closure, as the frontal wouldn't have given us that full afro look, as there wasn't that much hair in it. Also, it would have reduced the amount of space we had to add hair, so basically it would look thicker at the back than it would at the front. We just cut the 2 sides off and was basically left with a closure. I'm using the elastic band method to sew the closure down. I start by measuring Breeny's head to make sure that the band won't be too tight or too loose, and then tack the band to the closure. I'm using a thin elastic as usual to reduce irritation and also rubbing on her edges. So once the closure's on, I then position it into place so I can start sewing. I then tightly sew around the closure, tacking it down securely so that it won't lift or shift. It's important for you to stretch the closure and sew it down tightly so that it lays as flat as possible. To make the closure look slightly more natural, I then randomly pluck out some hair from the hairline so that it won't look so dense. At this point, there's no right or wrong way to do it, just don't pluck too many strands at the same time or you may rip the lace. I now razor cut some baby hairs in using a razor comb. I also pluck some of the hairs out in the parting to make it look a bit more natural. But try not to pluck too much, because if you want to change the part, you don't want there to be like a bald patch in the middle. For the baby hairs, I use Eco Styler gel to hold them down. This gel is quite good because it doesn't flake as much and it holds the hair down really well. I then sew the last bundle and that is basically it. Breeny Lee is going to do a video on the different ways to style curly afro, and she will also talk about where she got the hair from. Personally, I can't recommend the hair as I've not done a review on it and I wouldn't know how long it would last. So I'll leave all her social media in the information box and also a link to her channel so you can check out her video.